So, the Sixers just basically were on the verge of choking the game against the Lakers. They got saved at the last minute by Tobias Harris, who hit a quick jump shot with 2.5 seconds left, basically sealing the game for the win. And this was an interesting game for a lot of different reasons. First off, the matchup was already interesting heading into this game because you had the Lakers, who are the first seed in the West, against the Sixers, who are the top seed in the East. So the top seeds going against each other, it's always, it's going to be a good game regardless of who it is, right? And this was, honestly, it really wasn't that intense of a game for most of the time because the Sixers just were, clicking. They were doing everything right. They were hitting shots. They were defending well, even against LeBron and AD. They were able to capitalize off of any Laker mistakes. It was just a good game for the Sixers overall. And, I think the biggest credit you can give that to is Joel Embiid, who right now is, you could argue he is either one or two in terms of the MVP right now, because with the way that he has been playing so far this season, how he played in this game, how his team is doing overall, I mean, you have a really strong case to make for Joel Embiid to be the MVP right now. And especially after winning a game like this against the Lakers, these are the kinds of wins that, a team like the Sixers need, who are trying to make that push to get to that championship contention level. And getting a win like this, obviously, against the Lakers is huge. And man, it was just a great game overall, especially at that last second. But, I mean, look, let's be fair. They almost blew this game. They were up double digits heading into the fourth quarter. Even with a few minutes left in the game, they had a double-digit lead. But Dennis Schroeder came in, and he was making big defensive plays, drawing charges, hitting threes. KCP hit a big three. LeBron had a great pass to AD, cutting to the basket. So the Lakers did the right thing. They were a little sloppy, and they made some mistakes in the first half and even in the third quarter, but come the fourth quarter, they were clicking and they were able to make a strong comeback where the Sixers weren't able to just walk away with this game. Luckily for the Sixers, Tobias Harris came through and hit the shot, but I mean, they almost blew that game. But I mean, look, it was a great game overall, obviously, but the Sixers did a good job there. They got the win against the champs. And I mean, with this game, actually, it brings up an interesting conversation because let's take a quick look. The Sixers are now 13-6. They had the first seed in the East. They look really damn good right now. And look, when you have the duo of Embiid and Simmons, you're expecting them to be a solid team, right? And they have great pieces around them too. So it's not like you expected them to be a bottom seed playoff team, but I don't think it was expected that they would be this good out the gate, right? They came into the season starting off strong, and it's been great to watch, right? We've always been wondering when Embiid, when Simmons, when are they going to take that next step, because we know how great of a duo they are, we know how great they are individually, but we never really see them propel to the next level. They just progressively get better year after year. But it looks like they're taking a big leap this year, particularly Embiid. I mean, he put up 28, 6 and 4 tonight, and he was playing even with a messed up back, which, let's be clear, he fell on his back early in the third, and LeBron got, I don't even remember, I think he got a flagrant for that, which it looked very ugly, and for LeBron to push him, that was a very dirty play, by the way. But I mean, even with that putting aside, Embiid is playing, not hurt, but he had a little bit of a back mess up. So he was playing with this game not in 100% condition, and he still dominated for most of the game. And that's what the thing has been for this entire season. A lot of these teams have not been able to stop the Sixers or stop Embiid, in general. It's been crazy to watch just how dominant he's been against any team. No one can out-rebound him. No one can guard him in the low post. No one can, no one can stop him. It's been crazy to watch. And I'm not even just talking about the great numbers that he's putting up, because he's doing that too. He's putting up great numbers. His team is winning, but when you just watch him, he has this level of confidence. He just plays like no one can stop him. And with the way he is playing, no one can. He's hitting shots in the perimeter too. I mean, it's just been like crazy to watch Embiid. And look, everyone knows how great he is. So like me saying this isn't like that big of a deal because everyone knows how good Embiid is. But watching him this season has been different because it looks like he's finally taking that leap that we were all hoping, because we knew he was a great big man. We knew he was a great player, but it just seems different this year. And it's been great to watch. So I hope that he can stick with this, because if this continues, like, I genuinely believe that if the Sixers can hold on and get the number one seed in the East, and if Embiid continues to play at this level, I think he will be the MVP of the league. Like, it would be incredible to see a big man get MVP after, how many years it's been since we've seen, a 7-footer win MVP. But, I think it was probably since Dirk, now that I think about it. But, I mean, put that to the side. Just watching him has been great this year. The Sixers look very good. Ben Simmons, obviously, he's, great. He hasn't really excelled as much, and, he's playing well, but he isn't really, like, taking the step that Embiid has so far. But it doesn't matter because he's still playing at a high level. He's still playing well, even during this game. Like, look, he had a triple-double today. 17, 10, and 11. Like, Simmons is still doing the damn thing, right? Like, when I say that I don't even say he's regressing. I'm just saying that he's not playing at the level Embiid is, and that's still not bad because Embiid is just playing so dominant right now. Tobias Harris has been great so far. Danny Green, who gets clowned on a lot for understandable reasons, but he's been really good for the Sixers so far. He's making his shots, first of all. That's the biggest thing that everyone clowns him for, but he's making his shots. He is playing terrific defense no matter who he's guarding. Matisse Thybulle is also playing great defense, even if he's not putting up any numbers. That's irrelevant because of the great defensive plays that he's making. He did a pretty decent job guarding LeBron today, by the way. I mean, this team just looks really good so far. Like, they're deep. They have a lot of reliable guys who can do different things. They have shooters, they have scorers, they have defenders, they have rebounders. They have it all. So now my question is, can they continue this throughout the season, which will be very interesting. I think that when I watch them play against the Nets, I'll get an idea of how they are. But honestly, when they play the Nets, if you watch how the Nets have been, and this is a completely different topic, but the Nets have been terrible guarding big men just in general. Like, they're letting all the big men in this league just dominate them. Bam Adebayo, Jared Allen, etc. So I'm assuming that Joel Embiid is just going to, crush it against the Nets whenever they play. But, yeah, the Sixers are looking really good right now. I think that, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens come playoff time because they play great in the regular season at times, but then come playoff time, things just fall apart. So it would be really cool to see if they can continue this kind of level in the playoffs as well, especially against teams like the Bucks or the Celtics or the Nets. That would be special to watch. If Philly could make the finals, that would be a big shock. Actually, I wouldn't even say it's a big shock. I just think that it would be cool to watch, just generally, because I think the East has just been especially after the James Harden trade, it's been just kind of set in stone almost that, the Nets are going to go to the finals, which I understand that inclination, and even I'm leaning towards saying the Nets are going to make the finals because you have Kyrie, KD, James Harden, and stuff like that. But I don't want people to count these teams out. The Bucks have a lot of issues, but Giannis is still great. But I'm starting to think that the Sixers could be the biggest challenge to the Nets. If they continue to play at this level, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers and the Nets met in the conference finals. And if they did, it would be a very fun series to watch, too. You have such an offensive team with the Nets and such an incredible defensive team with the Sixers. It would be such a great series. So, at this point, could say that the Sixers are the biggest challenge to Brooklyn, talking about in the playoff sense, and in terms of who's going to make it to the finals. But that's, we have a long time to think about that, right? That's still months away. But I'm very happy to see what I'm seeing so far from the Sixers. They're playing great. Joel Embiid so far looks like an MVP guy. He looks like he can win the MVP this season. And even if he doesn't, he'll be probably runner-up if he continues this level of play. LeBron and Embiid, to me right now, are the two top top MVP candidates, and you could go back and forth with them, right? I think the biggest thing is just going to be who plays the best consistently, and then who has the best record. I think that'll determine the MVP in the long run, but right now, I would say it's Embiid, but then who knows what's going to happen later on. But yeah, Embiid's playing great. The Sixers are playing great, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens after this and when they start playing a lot of the other great teams like the Nets or the Bucks or the Celtics or any other team. I think it'll be fun to watch. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts. I wanted to use this game against the Lakers as kind of an excuse to talk about the Sixers overall. And this game was a great example of it because they won the game and it was a good game overall, so I got to do that too. But yeah, all right, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you think and about the Sixers team. Do you see them as a real threat in the East, or do you think this is just a one-off, or do you think that they're not going to live up to the hype like they always do? Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, subscribe, leave a like. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.